Alright everybody, welcome to a very spontaneous Kriegsspiel. Today I have 3 players, 2 are already there, 1 is still arriving. So we're using Otto system today again, because I like it very much. And one of his maps, this is actually a 3D map of an area in Hesse. We have a French infantry division with 3 brigades and an attached 2 squadrons of chasseurs à cheval, so that's light cavalry. They're advancing from Hof to the east. They know that there is enemy presence to the east. There's a Saxon infantry division here at Waldaubach. We don't know their order of march and initial orders yet. And we have an Austrian cavalry division with a few squadrons of lancers, dragoons and cuirassiers, as well as 2 horse gun batteries advancing from the Pfaffenberg from the south. The Austrians assume that there is enemy presence to the west, and they know that there should be a friendly division coming from the east. However, the Saxons, they do not know that the Austrians are coming, and I'm awaiting their order of march right now. So we see. Let me real quick hide muted channels so that I'm a bit quicker with jumping from player to player channel. And yeah, we no need to grab the dice already, but there we go. So these will obviously be on the road anyways. So I can place them and then probably 1 regiment after another. So let's throw them down. Don't know if you might want to put the regimental supplies somewhere else. So that could be something. And I want to see the grid. Show the lines, please. Like so. So that we can move on a bit quicker. Yeah, still waiting for the Austrian player. He said he wanted to play, but he'll be there soon, I believe. So let's get the next regiments on the road. On the road again. And let's say it's 1200 when we start, 12 o'clock. So I already have orders from the French. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe they march to Nister. And then we get the column going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Through Salzburg. Not the Austrian Salzburg, but the Hessian Salzburg. Although I think this is actually in the Duchy of Nassau and not one of the Hesses. We will wait a little bit. Okay, so now we have interesting orders here. Let's see. I need to draw because it's getting interesting. There are a variety of orders. Whoops, didn't want to open that one. Okay, let's see. Prince Clemens. Where is the Prince Clemens regiment? That's this one. They are supposed to... Oh, move. Take the long road through Hohenrot. They are supposed to go this way to Emmerichshain. We will surely set them up. That was Prince Clemens. Yep. We get those moving. Prince Anton, Prince August, Prince Maximilian. Prince Anton is the very first. Prince Anton takes the lead in the column towards Nister. Yes, I have that right. Followed by August. Let's see. Prince Friedrich August, this one. I guess he's with them. Max. Let's see, Prince Anton. There we go. Okay, that was correct then in the first place. Like so, and Niester Marshal is probably the last one. Niester Marshal Regiment are to head to Homburg. So this column is heading for Nister, and then Homberg. These two are heading to Homberg. Friedrich August. Let's see. Friedrich August is to take the road near the Hain and around the Altich. The road around the Hain. To arrive where? Wargames here. So they are basically taking the same road. No, he wants to use different roads, of course. So this one is correct. Let me get that going differently then. Blue is the first. Friedrich August. It's taking a little bit because everything is written with him, by him. So Friedrich August to take the road near the Hain. Okay, I don't think that's actually a road. It might be. Go down there, right? Sort of this. That's the second one. Then we got the third. Oh, that's transparent. Don't want to do that. And this one is going like here. Something like that. All right, we got the orders. We got going. Ask him where he wanna be. Anyways, I can get those moving already. 1, 2, 3, 4, about here. 1, 2, 3. Let's be a bit generous with these, why not? Did I miss one? Prince Maximilian and Niese Marshal. So that is Niese Marshal and Maximilian. They go the red road. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say to there. And these guys are heading through Hohenrot. And then we still got the divisional train left. Need to know where he wants to go with this one and where he wants to be himself. Still haven't heard from the player again that wanted to join me. Okay, so that was the first turn. We go in the second, and then they spot each other here. These guys have orders to scout ahead, so they will probably just keep an eye out. These guys might react, depending on whether he is with him or not. Get these folks moving. Moving. Like so. Second turn, there's no need to stop and send screenshots. So this is a bit of a messy terrain, so I won't move these guys as far this turn. They will surely arrive at Hamburg and Hohenrot. This is now a main road here. We can easily bring them up to the Kirchhof. And slowly make these folks move. Although I don't know where the player happened to go. I will delay those forces, I think, if he doesn't show up. But the coalition player surely needs a something. Some allies. So the commander will be with the reserves. That is very interesting. He will be at the Homburg then. The Prince Clemens. That's this one. Right? Clemens. Give order to all the forward regiments to have couriers at the ready. Head towards me as soon as possible. I want to be able to... Okay, got that. So we are 2 turns in and we give the first report to players. So that is 12:30 then. Alright, James here. I'm sorry for the delay. It took a while because of the written orders. So your column is closing in on Nister, and you can make out from this hill there, from the slope you're on, and a courier that is coming up from the Chasseur Cheval, that they have encountered a regiment of Saxon infantry on the slopes east of Nister. Do you want to react to that?
Yeah, what's the range of my artillery squares that I see there?
Let me see, these are 12 pounders, so probably 5 squares effective range.
So let's deploy, yeah, we'll deploy a brigade at that range and then bring up the artillery. to
Okay.
begin firing.
All right, and everybody else stays in column.
Yeah, everyone stays calm, keep coming forward. We'll see how things go after that.
All right then. So orders are to bring the artillery up. One artillery battery is coming up. These guys will just try and whirl about and try to get eyes on the enemy. The enemy is staying defensively here, I would say. And all the other units are to move. 1, 2, these are very small roads, so I move them slowly. Slowly. 1, 2. So these guys arrived. Or maybe I just give him a report that they have arrived and what he wants to do with those. Then the main column, or the sort of reserve column, continues on the main road. My third player still hasn't shown up. I'm not sure what's wrong there. Anyways, doesn't matter. I delay those forces. That's all good. Might be even more interesting. Okay, so a report for this player. I should probably have given this player the report first because he is operating by text. Nister, Marshall, everything is calm. Yeah, I will have to move them eventually when these guys come up, so maybe they are a bit drifted off. I will see if the player shows up. If not, I have someone who can give sort of intentions for them spontaneously. That's all good. And I will bot them then. Might be in the favor of the coalition, but anyways. All right, in case you're wondering, the player is writing his orders, so that's why it takes a little longer. But I think I can already give a new report to James and take care of things later on. So here are these hills, there are some woods, and he sort of gets a better view of the situation. All right, your first brigade is starting to deploy and one of the 12-pounder batteries is coming up. The chasseurs à cheval are roaming around and trying to get a better view of the enemy positions. And yeah, the enemy seems to be stationary there where they are. Other than that, you don't hear any combat noise or anything suspicious.
Probably doing the same thing. Let's send 2nd Brigade on that road south, and with orders to cross east where it makes sense, and to try and come in on their southern flank.
Okay.
We'll have the cavalry teams.
Perfect, thank you. So these guys are coming up, then behind them, which means the other 12-pounder battery will be in range to be deployed soon. These guys have been moved, these guys have been moved, but that's already the next turn. So let me see, orders. The Prince Friedrich August regiment is to move towards Emmerichshain. Friedrich August. Towards Emmerichshain. So that shall we delay that by 1 turn? Yes, we will. So they have a new order of march, or marching order. So they are ordered to move down there. That will be executed next turn, following the other route. I knew it, this route. So if only he knew a French division was engaging his men. Let me see, are there orders for the reserve? Emir isn't gonna move until Wargames later again. Reports. Yes. So waiting for reports. These folks are continuing to Emmerichshain. These will move next turn. And these two will just get into position to move out quickly. All right, so that is then 12:45 for him. Now these guys are starting to move. These guys are starting to continue. That's a nice one. The divisional supplies down here, all on their own. And if the Austrians strike, they are all gone. Okay, that's that. They deployed, but will they open fire already? I think they can. Let me grab the markers here, put them down on the board. Get me the artillery die, and I need the rangefinder for those. So that is max range here, because I mean these are 12-pounders, they will surely be able to fire over there, even if not to the most of their effect they could have. So that is throwing a die, and it is a big nothing. A big nothing. Okay, so let's see, how long would it take for them to get over there? They should be reporting this turn, and I think they might want to try to slowly pull back. This is just my call, get out of the effective artillery range, which means the chasseurs are trying to follow them. Let me get another screenshot here. Like so. This is a range of 4. Yeah, that's perfect. So that is 1300 for James. And this is like something like so. $1,300 for G puzzle. A courier from, what's the name of this regiment? Prinz Anton. So this guy arrives, and Prince Clemens. That the regiment should have arrived in Emmerichshain by now. You hear artillery fire from the northwest. And now I'm getting a bit concerned because my third player isn't showing up. Well, let's start to bot these guys. Amentus, hello! Nice to have you. So, let me give a report to James. Alright, James, so the artillery opens up. You cannot really tell if it had any significant success, but it appears that the enemy has pulled back a little bit. The chasseurs à cheval are trying to shadow them. Yeah, that's about it.
Are they still in range, or are they almost out of it?
They are getting out of there. I mean, you can still fire, of course, but the effect might not be so big.
Yeah. Let's see how much. Let's advance the first brigade. The artillery can stop firing. Advance the first brigade down towards Nister, still in line, and the third can still stay calm, coming behind, and then the second brigade continue. And I change orders for them, and we'll just see what they do with that. And I'll move forward a little bit ahead of first brigade just to get a better look.
Okay, just a little bit. The second 12-pounder battery is coming up. Do you want to deploy it or keep it mobile?
Keep it mobile.
All right. Very good. Hallo. Na, dann machen wir das doch mal. Jetzt muss ich mal eben gucken, was hier Sinn ergibt. Okay, ich hab dich. Kannst du mich hören? Ich höre dich nämlich nicht. Falls du mich hören kannst, gib mir ein Zeichen. Ansonsten schreibe ich dir.
Kannst du mich hören?
Ja, jetzt höre ich dich.
Jetzt soll es gehen. Okay.
Ja, genau. Okay, ich habe dich ein bisschen nach Westen verlegt. Es ist jetzt 13 Uhr. Und deine Division ist auf der Straße von Schellenberg nach Neustadt. Du hörst aus dem Norden-Nordosten Artilleriefeuer.
Ist das, sorry, ist
Ja.
das Modul von Otowski oder welches muss ich da reinladen?
Genau, warte, ich kann dir den Link kurz...
Ja, also ich hab's. Also das von der Kampagne, oder nicht?
Nee, das ist das
Okay.
Escaping Leipzig oder wie auch immer das heißt.
Ah, okay.
Steam Workshop Leaving Leipzig.
Ich sehe. Aber das Bild, das du da gepostet hast, das ist die ganze Karte, oder? Das ja.
Im General meinst du, oder wo?
Ja, genau.
Ja,
Also
ja, ja.
Okay, dann reicht mir das. Ich kann mit dem
Okay.
spielen. So. Schellenberg.
Das ist die links unten in der
Ah,
Ecke.
ganz unten links.
Mhm.
Okay. Und ich höre Kanonenschüsse von Nordosten.
Genau.
Okay. Ich kann nicht einschätzen, wie weit das weg ist, ne?
Nee, nicht so richtig.
Okay. Dann marschiere ich gerne weiter geradeaus.
Mhm.
In Richtung Neustadt und dann da bis zur Kreuzung.
Alles klar.
Und ich schätze nicht, dass ich die Kreuzung diese Runde erreiche, ne?
Ja, gerade so wirst du die wohl erreichen.
Okay, dann passt das, wenn ich gerade da bin.
Wunderbar, dankeschön. Alright. Amentus. The message reached me 30 minutes late. You could have joined anyways. I mean, now you know the situation, but next time just try to contact me and ask if you still can. I would have made it possible for you. No problem. Anyways, yeah, we were just... Otto wanted to host a game today and he had to call it, had to cancel it, and I thought, man, I got some free time, so why not? Let's just do it. So James had no orders for his Chasseur Cheval, the light cavalry. They are keeping to screen those Saxon infantry then, or shadow them. Don't know, the light cavalry would not attack the line infantry head on. Why should they? I moved these guys. Did I? Yes, I did already. Then time for G-Puzzle to actually answer my call for orders, because these guys have now reached Emmerichtenhain and these guys are moving 1, 2, 3, 4. They are getting there as well. So basically he would be losing a turn if he doesn't give orders now, because that's 8 minutes, so let's wait, give him 3 more minutes and then we move on. If he has orders for his reserves, we can make them move anyways, but the interesting thing would be these orders. I mean, let's say they would be delayed by 1 turn anyways, because the courier needs to find them. So, well then, we will move on. These guys got a bit slowed down by moving through their batteries. And I don't know how far he really wants to go, because the slope won't help him there. So then it's the next turn, which should be 13:15. A new screenshot for James. There are the woods in the way. And he got his man behind him. 13, 15. Another one for Ninja, who just joined us here. Like so. Can you see them? No, I don't think so. There are hills in between. He knows that he has an allied force there, but seems he doesn't want to scout for them. Okay, 13:15 Uhr, du hast die Kreuzung erreicht. Das Artilleriefeuer im Nordosten wurde eingestellt. Ansonsten kannst du nichts hören.
Dann würde ich gern die Lanzen, also die Ulanen, nach Osten schicken.
Ja.
Nach Emmerichenhain.
Jawohl.
Und die sollen sich da umsehen, ob sie freundliche Kräfte finden oder was sie da sind. Und dann zurückkommen und mir berichten. Und mit den restlichen möchte ich gern über Niederosbach und dann da nach Norden der Straße entlang.
Nach Oberosbach, ja?
Genau.
Ja. Wunderbar, danke sehr. Okay, the enemy is keeping to pull back. The light cavalry, the chasseur cheval are still shadowing them as they have no other orders. And the 1st Brigade is moving up.
Alright. We'll continue having 1st Brigade move up. Bring the 2nd battery forward. Numbered 1.
Where do you want to bring that? To your position?
Yeah, I guess, to my position, and have them unmembered there, and then we can kind of leapfrog the 2nd battery and bring them up too. I think that's it.
All right. Okay, G puzzle is writing right now, so I need to remember to make 2 moves for him. So the Ulan, this is the Lances will now certainly notice friendly forces down here and then move back to report. But it'll be interesting to know what G Puzzle wants to do with his forces now, as he is aware of combat noise from the northwest. And as he has spread his forces quite a bit and is far from the front line to react and give immediate orders for his reserves, they are all a bit outnumbered now on their own. So let's see, that shall be interesting. I saw him typing, so I believe he will give some orders. Slows us down a little bit, but overall we are moving really quickly. I mean, James is one of our master umpires, so he has some experience playing Kriegsspiel, as well as running campaigns for us, or for himself, whatever, for the International Kriegsspiel Society. And Ninja has played before think his first Kriegsspiel also was the Grand Gettysburg game, right? Or maybe some drills before that. No, we played some... Did we even play Napoleonics before Gettysburg? I don't think so. So maybe... Yeah, Gettysburg was maybe his first, and then afterwards some Napoleonic games. I don't know how experienced G-Puzzle is, though. His orders were solid so far. Unfortunate for the French that the initial artillery barrage didn't have any effect on the Saxon infantry. But I think, I mean, by now they know that there is a whole brigade coming. The 2 squadrons cannot screen a whole brigade coming up. They see the movement along the road anyways. Move the reserve towards Nister. Okay, that's interesting. He wants to react via this road here. So that would be 1 move and a 2nd move to bring them up. Nothing lost there for him. And I guess he will move with them. So Prince Clemens is to begin wheeling via the road to Zehnhausen. Let's see, Prince Clemens was down here to Zehnhausen. So these are moving out. We have the delay already in, no problem. I don't know if he's aware that the divisional supply is still with these guys. Prince Anton is to give battle but not actively pursue. The supply train is to stay in Emmerichtenhain. Okay, I missed that one. So they are still here, all on their own. With Prince Friedrich, oh no, Prince Friedrich August is to join them here, and they will. No problem. Okay, so that would then be movement done. Did I move the French this turn, these guys? Let me go back to the screenshot, as I'm not 100% sure. Move them 1, move them 2 from 13. So 1300 they moved to here, 1315. And we are going to 1330 now. They are crossing into Weiganshain. Question is, can James see them doing that? I don't think so. He's focused on the enemy ahead. So they will probably send a courier next turn. So the turn after. We got these guys moving. That should be everything on the move. G-Puzzle has, I swear the 10-minute delay in orders is gonna get me. Okay, so I will give him the first report then to account for that. So he knows, does he know? No, there are woods here. See those? So he does not know. There are woods, there is a hill there. And then he can probably, let's say he can see the indication of a regimental supply train. And we bring him to 3:30 in an instant. Do we have any more combat noise? So these two can't see each other. They were moving through here, and they are moving through the valley, so they didn't see each other. Artillery fire ceased. And any other reports? No. Okay, so report to Ninja. Probably see to there. He sees this. He sees the woods. Send him this one, and to James, who can now see the woods, like so. Nine hours of Gettysburg, that was a game, yeah, quite a game. Yeah, exactly. So let's see. Does he want to continue to the west? We will learn pretty soon. Okay, du hast Niederrosbach durchquert und das Artilleriefeuer im Nordosten wurde eingestellt. Ansonsten gibt es keine weiteren Berichte.
Die Ulanen, die sind noch nicht zurück.
Sind noch nicht wieder zurück, nein.
Wären die gleich schnell wie ich oder sind die schneller?
Die sind vielleicht ein kleines bisschen schneller, weil du einen Nachschubwagen bei dir hast.
Okay. Also die würden mich irgendwann einholen.
Ja.
Und ich kann annehmen, dass ich denen gesagt habe, wo ich hingehe. Ne?
Ja, ich denke schon.
Okay. Dann würde ich gern weiter nach Norden, dieser Hauptstraße entlang, bis nach Salzburg.
Jawohl.
Und dann da gen Osten, glaube ich.
Da gen Osten, alles klar.
Und kann ich schneller gehen? Ist das eine Option?
Ja, also du könntest
aber so einen leichten Trab oder irgend so.
Ja, du könntest den Nachschub ja irgendwie zurücklassen und dann dich schneller bewegen, klar.
Also wenn ich den Nachschub zurücklasse, bin ich automatisch schneller, oder?
Genau.
Okay, ja, dann der soll mir einfach weiterhin folgen und der Rest soll nach Salzburg reiten. Aber immer noch an einem, also so einer normalen Geschwindigkeit, nicht, dass die jetzt rennen oder so.
Alles klar. Okay. So. So you're advancing further through Nister. The enemy is still pulling back slowly, and you get a report from your 2nd Brigade that they have crossed the Große Nister Creek at Weiganshain.
C2. Is that cavalry or infantry?
The enemy ahead, that is infantry.
That's infantry. Okay. And where is my 3rd Brigade way back there? Are they not coming?
They are still at the crossroads.
Okay. Order the 1st Brigade to advance, continue advancing. The 3rd Brigade should be coming up behind them. Artillery is just to stay behind 1st Brigade, and then I'd like to ride down to my 2nd Brigade to see their situation.
2 seconds, yes. Okay, any orders for 3rd Brigade?
They are to advance and stay in column, but come in behind 1st Brigade.
Okay. Okay, and G-Puzzle wants to continue, and he will certainly reach this position. The problem is he doesn't have any artillery. The enemy has, but the enemy is sitting in a in a creek valley there with the artillery, so that is probably not as effective. And I will have these guys march up and let's base there for the artillery. Now these guys are probably falling back a little bit further. Now what we need to decide is whether the deployed regiment is screening these forces. And I would say that is the case because these forces are down the slope. Let me, by the way, change my color so that you can actually see my cursor doing stuff. So these forces are down the slope. They are looking up the slope, and what they see is a wall of men covering everything that's coming up from behind. We move these folks, so there is quite a risk now for the French supply train, divisional supply train, to be attacked. What I need to decide is where the Lancers will go. Will they try to get around here and take the main road? Or do they go via Niederrosbach? So let's say, Amentis, that's a call for you in the chat. Please make a decision. Will the Lancers try to get past these Saxon marching columns, or will they go back the way they came? Other than that, I don't think so. The artillery is an effective range, right? I mean, is this even to scale? It's not even to scale here. Let's see. I was already wondering why in the first time it was showing that the enemy was out of range. So there is an effective range there. Perfectly. Would the artillery commander give orders to fire in this circumstance? I would say yes. Although the position, I mean, this is the issue is the positioning of the guns down here in the valley. Can they actually really hit anything there? I'm not so sure about that. So let's say they stay for close range support then only. That's a bit of a pickle, putting your artillery at the bottom of a valley. Okay, we moved these, they moved up there, they passed, sort of missed each other there. Let them move to Zehnhausen via the main road. Very well, we will do that, which will cost them a little bit of movement. They would certainly otherwise go 6, but we will have them struggling to get around the marching column. So unfortunately, Ninja will not know that they have already encountered friendly units there. Alright, so a new screenshot for G-Puzzle, and I would say, as he has the high ground, the infamous high ground, he will now be able to see that there is something going on in the south. Even though if his avatar is not there yet, he will get a report from the officers of the, what's that, August? The Anton, Prince Anton Regiment. Does he get reports? I mean, now there's a French force in between, so, but couriers would probably go via Hamburg anyways, because that was his last command position. So don't think there are reports from these guys. What we could, I mean, that might be something. Can they see those moving up the hill on the Astich? Let's do a die roll on that. Let's do a die roll on that. Custom D6. Not custom, but the usual D6. And we say, maybe there is an officer in here who keeps an eye out and who sees the shadows of movement on a 5 or 6. And actually, he has eagle eyes and sees some sort of movement, which will prompt him to send some scouts to the Zolgerberg next turn. Let's keep track of that. So that's the report for G puzzle. You spot enemy formations at Nister. No other reports. So then we have Ninja, who cannot see past these hills. And there are actually woods. I missed those. Let's go back. There are some woods in between. Woods here and a town in the rear. So there we go. 1345 for Ninja. And a report for James, who left his forces all alone to get an eye on the situation over here. So there are woods. And then he can probably see something like that. 1345. So, deine Kolonne ist durch Oberrossbach vorgestoßen. Noch immer keine Sicht auf die Ulanen. Und es gibt auch keinen Kampflärm mehr, der zu hören wäre, seit die Artillerie das Feuer eingestellt hat.
Okay. Dann, wie viel langsamer wäre ich, wenn ich jetzt hier nach rechts über den Wilsberg gehe, statt direkt nach Salzburg und dann nach Osten, wenn ich so diagonal gehen würde? Ist das viel langsamer, oder?
Mal sehen, was das für Strecken sind.
Also sagen wir, ich würde so nach Nister
Ja,
gehen
viel langsamer
wollen.
ist das nicht. Nein, nein. Willst du über den Wilsberg?
Genau, dann gehe ich gerne über den Wilsberg.
Okay.
Mit der Idee, dass ich von da oben mehr sehe, ne? Als hier unten im Tal.
Und der Nachschub wird dann aber wahrscheinlich über Salzburg marschieren.
Falls ich in Salzburg nicht sehe, genau.
Genau, alles klar.
Das würde ich ja sehen vom Wilsberg.
Ja, das auf jeden Fall. Okay, prima.
Okay, vielen Dank.
Alright, James, you have joined the 2nd Brigade at the Astich Hill there, east of Weiganshain. And yeah, there is nothing to hear and nothing to see. You know that the 1st Brigade continued their advance, and that's about it.
Are those woods to my north?
No combat noise to the north.
Wait, sorry, are those woods, trees to my north?
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Forest?
Yes.
Okay. Would they be enough to hide the brigade if I moved through them?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, well then. Still don't know where their main force is, but let's try that. I'll order the 2nd Brigade to march north through the woods. And I will go back to 1st Brigade.
Back to 1st, okay. Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, that's interesting. So he's now trying to move these guys through the woods, do a sneaky move. And as these are line infantry battalions, we will put some disruption on them for doing so. Now the thing is, moving back, will he spot? I mean, that's a short distance to travel for him. And this road is going along this hill, so that is, I mean, he's going by road, I would assume. let's say from here, yeah, you can certainly see the movement. So we need to take care to tell him there's movement on the road, whatever that might be. And I think I have orders from G-Puzzle. Okay, so he wants the Prince Maximilian Regiment to deploy into battle lines south of Prince Anton. They will go down here, 1 battalion deployed, the other one squeeching between the woods there. These Muschel to be held in a reserve. And so it shall be done. But given this is a combat situation, I assume they are forming into battle formation anyways. So there's that. We did this. The cavalry still has no orders to do stuff. They are just sitting and watching. First brigade is moving up. Oh, the battalions got mixed up, so let's fix that. Problem is, would they actually screen the artillery? I don't think so. So they are carefully getting up, but they don't really have orders. Only orders is to advance. Now let's say the artillery has deployed in a sort of grand battery and pushed slowly forward in order to get a better shot, possibly. Now these guys are moving through Nister, 3rd Brigade, bringing up the divisional supply train, which is now unguarded and can certainly be attacked by the Austrian cavalry. Other than that, we got these folks. They will move, and I said they will send out scouts, and the scouts can now, these are 5 away, so they can see movement into the woods, but they cannot, with the bare eye, they cannot see or identify the actual uniform colors and stuff, but they will try to send word, and this will have to travel along here. So 1, 2, and will arrive in 2 turns. Okay. I think Friedrich August is still to be held with the regimental supply train. Yes, in Emmerich-Hain. So there's that. Very good. We advanced these, we advanced those. Those moved. And I need to remember to give James report of movement to the west. So let's start with G-Puzzle again. He doesn't see anything through the woods, obviously. So that is a bit of a hindrance. But anyways, he had some time to take a look around. So that is then 1400. Then we get one for Ninja, and he will be clapping his hands, I believe. Enjoy. How far can you actually see, though? Probably to here. Let's not be too generous, and the smoke is nothing, but 1400 for Ninja. And then we get another report for James. Woods. Like so. Okay. Let's see. G-Puzzle. Did you get any reports? No. That takes another turn at least. The enemy ahead is slowly advancing in your direction and deploying their artillery. Let's go to Ninja.
What do you mean to? Hang on. Ja?
Ja. Also du erreichst den Wilsberg, siehst von da aus deine Lanzenreiter auf der Hauptstraße von Zehnhausen nach Norden reiten. Da kommt ein Meldereiter von denen, der berichtet dir, dass sie in Emmerichenhain auf 2 sächsische Regimenter gestoßen sind, bei denen sich auch der sächsische Divisionsnachschub befindet. Eines dieser beiden Regimenter ist hinter ihnen auf der Straße und marschiert nach Norden. Richtung Osten siehst du eine französische Kolonne mit Divisionsnachschub, die gerade durch Nister marschiert.
Oh. Auf die andere Seite des Tales sehe ich nicht.
Nicht so richtig. Mal gerade gucken, was die Entfernung ist. Also du siehst, da sind noch mehr Formationen, aber du kannst nichts Genaueres ausmachen.
Okay. Ja, okay, aber wenn da abgeprotzte Artillerie steht, sind da wahrscheinlich nicht nur Franzosen. Ist das da unten das Schwarze? Ist das ein Bächlein?
Ja.
Ist das ein großer Bach? Oder?
Heißt zumindest große Nister. Wie groß das nun wirklich ist, könnte ich mal nachgucken.
Okay. Ja, aber denkst du, da hat es eine Brücke da unten? Wüsste ich das? Oder ist das eine Furt, wo man einfach...
Das weißt du nicht.
Okay. Und der kommt von Norden, ja?
Ja.
Okay, dann wird er wahrscheinlich im Norden ein wenig kleiner sein.
Das ist anzunehmen.
Okay. Dann hätte ich gern, dass die Dragoner so schnell wie möglich zu der Furt oder der Brücke gehen, oder was das ist. Die Ulan. Die Ulan unten auf der Straße, sollen das so schnellstmöglich zur Furt.
Und den Feind angreifen, wenn möglich.
Und die Versorgung übernehmen und wenn die ins Karree gehen, natürlich zurückfallen.
Ja, okay.
Und die Dragoner und Kürassiere sollen auch Richtung Furt oder Querung, aber ein bisschen weiter im Norden, das mit der Annahme, dass da der Bach einfacher ist zu überqueren.
Okay.
Und die Artillerie soll noch nicht abprotzen.
Lässt du sie auf dem Wilsberg?
Ne, die soll mitkommen, aber
Ja.
nicht
Okay.
abprotzen.
Alles klar, das machen wir so.
Und die Versorgung kommt wahrscheinlich einfach noch, nehme ich an.
Genau.
Und der Rauch da oben, das ist einfach, der liegt da rum, oder? Das ist nicht
Ja, der.
auf dem Bild. Okay.
Da liegen meine
Hab
Würfel.
ich angenommen, ja. Okay.
Alles klar.
Perfekt. Okay.
Top of the ridge.
So, as you are moving back north, you can see to the west on the main road that is leading from Emmerichenhain to Neukirch some movement. You cannot say what it is, but it appears to be cavalry, judging by the speed they move. And yeah, other than that, it appears that the enemy has brought up some more troops in front of you. And the 2nd Brigade is moving into the woods right now.
Sorry, my son was young. Where did you say I saw that cavalry?
You saw indications of cavalry movement on the main road that is leading from Emmerichenhain, or basically from the edge of the map, to the north through Zehnhausen and to the north to Neukirch. So the movement was north of Zehnhausen.
Oh, okay. I don't have the master map, so where is that relative to me right now?
That is to the west-southwest of you.
Oh, okay, thank you. So 1st Brigade should continue to advance and attack that line. The artillery should, if they're not already, unlimber and begin firing on them. The cavalry should move southwest to cover our rear from the enemy cavalry. And the 3rd Brigade should guard the supply wagons, and then we'll basically be hoping to fix them in place while 2nd Brigade moves through the woods.
All right. I see that I got all that. Are you staying with the artillery?
Yeah, I'll stay here.
All right, good. Thank you. Yeah, the French are somewhat in a serious situation now. At least there came orders, and I mean the officers is right there to hurry out and counter this attack. And as they are hurrying up, I will put, I mean, I'm the evil umpire. I will put disruption on them. For doing so, probably this battalion is hanging behind. Will they be able to form square? Potentially, yes. I mean, infantry could form square in under good conditions within 2 minutes. So maybe we roll for that. Maybe we roll for that again. Let me get a die per unit and drop them here. This one is too far away, but these two might. So on a roll of 4 or higher, they will form square, and none does. Okay. Anyways, we will get out some infantry dice for those guys and see if they can repel the cavalry before the attack. Although lances, I don't know if that's the case for Austrian lances actually, but the French lances only had lances in the first ranks, and then basically the second rank was armed with carbines, firing carbines at the enemy, so sort of a combined arms attack in the small scale. Now these folks are moving into battle formations. Problem is they have a forest in their back. Let me put down smoke for the flavor of it. And we'll of course also have to drop some dice for those. I moved these, I didn't move these yet. So they are coming in behind the lancers. That's quite interesting. Did I have any new orders for G puzzle? Friedrich August Regiment, this is the reserve down here. They are ordered to move to Möhrendorf. So counter-marching for these guys. Counter-marching. As soon as possible, send an order to Prince Clemens telling them to organize a defensive position. Prince Clemens. Yeah, there will be delay. There will be delay, but I think the courier will arrive. Will he? Not yet. Not yet. We'll wait for next turn. We hold a solid defense position. Essentially trapping them. Extra order, send a bunch of scouts. Whoever finds another friendly general, tell them that there is a battle going on near Nister. Yeah, as assumed. As assumed. The supply train. There's no order for the supply train. No. Supply stays at Emmerichsenhain. They are having a break. They are having a break. Okay, let me see. They have sort of formed their position here. Let's align them a little bit. These folks are moving through the woods. Maybe I moved them too far already. The cavalry has been moved. So now it comes down to first the question, can the infantry repel the attack? This is low on ammo, but as they are close to divisional supply and regimental supply or brigade supply, we will just remove that. Then we have an advantage hit on level 3 units. So this is assumed to be a level 2 unit. However, they are shooting frontally at the lancers. So we say this lancer attack is repelled. They are not, I mean, the horses don't enjoy moving into a line of firing muskets and bayonets. But this charge is driven home, so let's see what comes of that. And that is an actual rout, which also means a loss of manpower. And they are skedaddling out of there. And these guys are pushing. However, they are cavalry and will both be disrupted by having been committed. And next we need infantry dice quite a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, now the downside of having a 3-dimensional map, the dice are moving all over the place on their own. And we need 4 for the Saxon units. Oh, come on. Please stay with me. If I roll them now, they probably move all over the place. Okay, that worked. That worked. So we get in low on ammo. Where is he? Let me get the tokens here. I need them. I need them tokens. So this is a low on ammo. Anybody else with low on ammo? Hit only apply on bad terrain. No. That's about it. Okay, then we have a hit in an advantage position. Are they in advantage position? I would say yes. They are up the slope, and firing up slope was certainly a problem back in the day, because most of the soldiers didn't know, and the officers didn't know as well, that they had to aim high to actually hit folks up the slope. Same goes with these. This is a hit on the French. Oh man, I feel a bit sorry for them. This is a hit in bad terrain, which is not the case. And then we have advantaged position. I don't think so that this is, I mean, here we got the slopes, but they're probably not so much. So judgment call by yours truly, your evil umpire. And we come back with the French. And no effect. We got hit in bad terrain. Nope. We got down here an advantage hit. Certainly not. Oh wait, that is a hit even if the enemy is in an advantage position. So they are hitting. And this is another one with an ammo low on 3rd Battalion. Then we got the artillery. It is firing medium range, certainly so. That is an hit even if they had been firing before, which they did not. And it's the same for these. So that is a disruption on both. The Saxon line is heavily disrupted, but the flank of the French is as well. They got their sneaky brigade coming up, so that might be something there. But this is an issue back in the rear. Do we have any more combats to roll? I don't think so. That brings us to the next turn. We will give another one. So now the question is, for an umpire, how quickly will you tell the player that there is movement in the woods. I mean, they might have some pickets there. I don't know. Do they? Don't they? We can probably roll another die. Did I delete the d6 altogether? No, there's another one. So let's say on a 5 or 6, the indication of movement is spotted, and it appears that they are busy with the combat in front of them, so nobody notices the enemy. So, firing has commenced. Your line seems to be shaken by the initial volleys of French infantry and artillery support. You receive a messenger by now. You receive a report from Emmerichenhain that friendly lances have passed through to the north. The main body is assumed to be at Salzburg. The main body of the Allied division is assumed to be at Salzburg by now. Any other orders for them? Don't think so. So that is the report. Then question is, Ninja, what can he actually see? Up the slopes, probably not so much. This is 6 away, so with the bare eye and moving with his cavalry, he won't be able to see this. Does he see the attack? Yeah, he does see that happen, of course, because it is assumed to be simultaneous movement here, but don't think he can really tell what the outcome of this is. So let's make sure he doesn't. Like so, and we got something like this. This is for Ninja. 14, 15. Drop that in. Give 1 to James. Now James will be concerned because of what is going on in his rear. 14, 15 for James. So G-Puzzle wants to send a message to his allied force, but let's see. So he knows that the enemy, the ally is assumed to be at Salzburg, so he will probably send the courier up north, which will then reach Ninja next turn. Perfect. Okay, deine Lanzenreiter haben den Angriff gestartet. Du kannst leider, aber weil du in Bewegung bist und dich da nach Norden rum bewegst, wo der gegnerische Versorgungszug das alles ein bisschen verdeckt, nicht wirklich sagen, wie erfolgreich das war. Und du bewegst dich dann jetzt weiter nach Osten, nehme ich an, um den Bach zu überqueren.
Okay. Ich würde gerne mit den Dragonern und der Artillerie direkt nach Süden, also da zur Furt.
Mhm.
Und je nachdem, was da abgeht, ändert sich das ein wenig. Falls da noch Feinde sind, in starker, also viel Infanterie, und die in Karre bilden, dann würde ich gerne außer Schussweite bleiben und mit der Artillerie da drauf schießen. Und wenn die in Unordnung sind und ich denke, dass die Dragoner die überwältigen können, oder wenn dann nur noch der Nachschub ist, dann würde ich da gern reinreiten. Und die Dragoner, ich nehme an, die sind momentan selbst, also die sind selbstständig aktiv im Moment, nehme ich an.
Die Ulan meinst du?
Ja, sorry, ja, die Ulan, die werden kämpfen oder sich zurückziehen. Je nachdem.
Die Kürassiere sollen dann oben, also jetzt nach Osten weiter oder kommen die auch?
Genau, die sollen von da, wo sie sind, nach Osten und bis zum Bach.
Ja.
Aber den Bach noch nicht überqueren, nur bis an den Bach.
Alles klar.
Okay, aber ja, das ist ja quasi direkt oben dran, wo der überhaupt anfängt. Also der wird da nicht groß sein, nehme ich an.
Ja, ich denke auch. Gut, Dankeschön. So we need to decide what's going on here. These men are probably trying to get away across the bridge, running to somewhere that they assume to be a secure spot. However, the other two battalions will by now certainly be able to form square and shoot at the enemy. No problem. These guys, will they actually? No, they will stay here. However, the Saxon infantry is now showing up in their rear. Because the order to take a defensive position cannot reach them in time. They will just, as by the previous orders, continue their march up, and that will scare these guys to hell. I don't know if we even have to roll for that. They probably just break and run. We have another movement here, 1, 2, 3, 4 to Weigensign. Then these guys are ordered to move across, right, and secure the rear. So one of the squadrons will go across, the other one will sort of spot and react and screen here to prevent these folks from being detected. They move on. I have orders from G Puzzle. Right along the line. Ready the troops. Hold positions, give them hell, we mustn't break. Okay, so let's give a report to James. Alright, James. The combat has commenced, the artillery opens up, your infantry is engaging the enemy. And from what you can see, the little you can see through the smoke, the enemy seems to be wavering in front of you. However, in your rear, you can spot that there is some activity going on. It appears that one of the battalions is routing as they are under attack by enemy cavalry.
One of my infantry battalions are routing?
Yes.
Okay. That was from the 3rd Brigade?
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Lovely. Shoot. Waiting on a second to show up. Let's turn the artillery around and fire to the west. And I will ride that way to rally the routed battalion and assess the situation.
Okay.
And first keep on keeping on, and if that's it.
Alright, so first, are they to continue to close in on the enemy or just continue the firefight?
Continue the firefight. I don't want to over-engage until the 2nd shows up, so stay where they are.
Yeah. Alright, sounds good. Thank you. Okay, so that was the movement of next turn already. He's moving to rally these men, which I will allow him. We formed the squares. We got these into battle formations. They are not that far away, but we assume the terrain is somewhat swampy or underbrushy due to the creeks and rivers and what's going on. So, did I miss anything? I moved these. No, I think we are good. good to roll some dice. The batteries are turned around on the spot, so I will certainly allow them to fire. The question is, on whom will they fire? Certainly not into friendly squares, right? So they are on a slight slope above Nister, so they can, I assume they can fire into this valley there. Let's say they can. So pow pow pow, on we go. Close range, not the case. Are they in an advantage position? The enemy is not in an advantage position, however it is a hit on this formation, which is then driven back by that. Let's remove those, and then we keep oh, I deleted the artillery die, which I should not do if I need to roll those again. Drop him there. So let's get some infantry dice. One for these guys. And then we got a combat going here and dice rolling all over the place again, because you can't see it actually from the perspective, right? But look at that. It is three-dimensional. Look at that. It's a nice thing to have. It's a cool feature, but as you can see, it brings problem with placing the troops, rolling the dice, things like that. If you want to place like a big tile on the map, sometimes they just go flying around. Anyways, the Grand Gettysburg map was 3D as well. Not as much of a relief like this one is, but worked a little bit better. Okay, so I don't think they can attack this turn. Let me go back to G-Puzzles. It's a shame you cannot see it from the top. Yeah, it sort of is. Maybe I should have given, like, you know, such a screenshot for the player, you know? He's on the slope here. Can't really see very far though. That's the problem. Maybe if I like so. Ah, that would have been nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. Should keep that in mind for the next game. Anyways, artillery did fire. We have the square firing on the. Ooh, I thought it was a nothing. Oh, it almost was again. A hit only in bad terrain. Ugh. What do we make out of that? I would say, I mean, the enemy now formed square. There are 12-pounder batteries opening fire. I think those guys will just say, nope, nothing for me. Let me get out of here. Move up here. Let's just, for the sake of flavor, put some disruption on the supply train. These guys won't engage. Now, the question is here, would these guys even stay in place? Let's just, for the sake of it, because I'm interested to see what could happen here, roll the dice and see what's going on. So that is an actual hit, and a hit even if the enemy is an advantage. So that is 2 hits, which means these guys are routing. And now the question would be, would they... Ah, that's cavalry, so these guys are just gone. They are shattered. Okay, makes perfect sense. They are just going away. I mean, they are just... Let's put him right in front of Ninja and tell him he can't do anything about it. That's what players like. Being unable to influence the game. So, G-Puzzle. I ride along the line to rally our troops until blah 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 blah. We mustn't break. Everyone else hold the positions. Until Friedrich August arrives. So Friedrich August regiment are these guys, right? So he's hoping to bring them into the flank of the enemy. That's his plan. That's the plan. That's the plan. So there's some screening going on here. That's all good. So then we get to see the next volley being fired at the enemy. And it stays. That's a hit and low on ammo. So these guys are actually now running out. And they are in an advantage position. Although, let me quickly check. Sometimes I get confused. Does the shooting unit have to be in advantage position or the enemy? The eyesight also applies if the enemy unit has the advantage. So normal hits do not apply on units in an advantage position, but this unit is not. So this unit will be reduced. Yeah, that's true. And they will, whoops, they will gonna go home. They'll of course still roll the die because everything is simultaneous, you know? So, experience 2. Oh man, the French are having a bad day. Huh? They are having a bad day. Those guys are even running out of ammunition, I can already tell that. Oh no, I didn't roll the die, sorry. That was my bad. So, they are getting out of there. Then we have 3 experience only. Nope. And an hit on the enemy. Sure thing, we'll do that. So now it's the French turn of shooting back. Shooting. What do we have here? Even if in bad terrain. No, only if in bad terrain. Okay, no effect. Yeah, well, it's the shooting up the hill, right? So, sort of makes sense. So this one is a hit though, even if the enemy is in an advantage position, which is the case here. So these guys will move. However, as I said, they are running out of ammunition. And these guys are hitting as well. So they are skedaddling back through the woods into the enemy column coming up there, and I need a low on ammo for these folks here. Put them on 1. So, the Nister Marshal. Did he want to bring the Nister Marshal up? No. He tried to rally the man, but that's about it. What we can allow is... no, we can't. We won't. That doesn't come into effect just now. Okay, I think that's it. So let's go on. Rolling the dice takes some time, so there's that. Anyways. A screenshot for G-Puzzle. The last he will enjoy probably because he sees the enemy running away. He doesn't know what's in the woods, right? Any updates? He's asking. Yes, there are updates. But so is the enemy's right. It appears that the enemy artillery has turned around and opened fire to the west. So back to Ninja. Who can now see these guys firing? Who can now see these like so? 1430 for him. Yeah, and James. I'm so sorry for James. Maybe the attack should have gone a bit quicker? I don't know. Can you see those? Yeah, maybe. So, James, where are you? Okay, let's go to Ninja first. Hallo.
Hallo.
Also, was haben wir denn da Schönes? Du siehst, wie die Lanzenreiter, die angegriffen haben, jetzt zurückgeworfen werden von feindlichen Karrees. Scheinbar hat das eine Schwadron ein sächsisches Infanterieregiment bekämpft oder versucht zu bekämpfen, das gerade auf dem Hügel von Süden aufgetaucht ist. Und du siehst gerade die Überreste von diesem...
Also die wären auf meiner Seite, oder?
Die wären auf deiner Seite, das stimmt.
Okay, das ist super. Das gefällt mir sehr.
Genau, aber die haben sich jedenfalls so erschreckt darüber, dass da plötzlich Einheiten aufgetaucht sind, als sie
aber das wussten die doch, dass
mit den Karrees im Kampf waren, dass sie jetzt nach Norden...
Aber wussten das die Ulanden nicht? Die haben mir doch berichtet.
Die haben die auf der Straße überholt, ja, das stimmt. Aber die Sachsen waren wohl genauso überrascht und haben ein paar Schüsse abgegeben. Deswegen reiten sie gerade an dir vorbei. Du kannst sie nicht aufhalten. Aber was du siehst, ist jedenfalls, vor dir sind 2 feindliche Bataillone in Karreestellung. Und es scheint, dass der Feind die Artilleriebatterien umgedreht hat und das Feuer auf deine Dragoner eröffnet hat, weswegen ein Schwadron...
Okay, deshalb ist mein Dragoner...
Genau, deswegen ist das zurückgedrängt worden, ja.
Okay. Dann hätte ich jetzt gerne, dass die Artillerie vorrückt,
Jawohl.
bis sie gerade außer Feuerdistanz ist von der Infanterie und dann da voll ins Karree reinballert.
Mhm.
Also mit der Idee, dass die noch weg können, falls die Infanterie plötzlich kommt. Nicht allzu nah.
Ja.
Und die Dragoner sollen da Deckung gehen, falls der Feind aus dem Karree kommt. Und die Kürassiere, das Orange auf der anderen Flussseite ist was genau? Also da das orange Zeichen auf der französischen Infanterie.
Das weißt du nicht.
Okay. Aber das könnte man ja wissen. Okay, aber das wird ja nichts Gutes heißen. Gut, die Kürassiere sollen sofort in aller Eile auf die andere Flussseite und da selbstständig entscheiden, wo sie reinchargen.
Okay.
Also die sollen da ein bisschen aufmischen, weil soweit ich sehe, ist die Artillerie nicht so beschützt. Da hat es fliehende Einheiten. Wer weiß, was da alles ist. Außer sie sehen jetzt direkt ein Karree, da sollen sie natürlich nicht rein.
Alles klar.
Und die Ulan, der zweite, der ist dann noch im Norden, ne?
Genau, ja.
Okay, der soll sich erholen und dann zu mir kommen.
Alles klar. Gut, das machen wir so.
Okay, danke.
So, let's see. I totally missed that that the Saxons and the Austrians are of course on the same side, but sometimes these things happen during the battles, you know? Get confused and just shoot on your friends. Friendly fire is a thing, you know. So let's see. Commit the Niesen-Meuschel regiment on the enemy left flank. On the enemy left. So he wants to bring them into the woods, which they can do. They are prepared for... Oops. Didn't meant to start the Clone Wars here. They can do that. Hold at all costs. So far as... Yeah, how far is it? I don't know. They still have orders to march. Yeah. Probably so. So these guys will now be overturned and will just simply surrender as the French are jumping out of the woods. Question is, what will James do? Alright, James. Unfortunately, the right flank of the 1st Brigade did break, but as you can make out through the smoke, so did the enemy left flank. Your guns turned around and pushed back some enemy dragoons on the east bank of that creek, and you rallied a battalion that routed across the bridge there. You can see that the other 2 battalions of the 3rd Brigade have formed into square now. And let me see, I think there's
cavalry I'm seeing up northwest.
That is enemy cavalry, yes. Let me see, I think, yeah, you get a report from your light cavalry, which you sent to the south to cross there, that there is another enemy infantry regiment coming up through Weiganshain. But one of your squadrons made it across before the enemy arrived. So they will try to threaten the rear of the enemy.
Alright, so both my cavalry are south out of where I can see right now?
Exactly, yes.
Oh. And is that enemy artillery firing from that hill southwest of me?
From the snow. There is no artillery. So far, there is no enemy artillery at all.
Just shooting that out to the airway back there. Alright, that's good news at least. Alright, and what did the cavalry far to the south say they saw?
They saw an enemy infantry regiment marching north through Weiganshain.
Okay.
But they don't think that the 2nd Brigade was spotted, so they screened them sort of. Yeah.
Okay. So I'd like for the artillery to fire on that cavalry up northwest, and the supply wagons should cross to the east side of Nister for better protection, and the 3rd battalion or 3rd Brigade should watch the. I guess they're in square right now, aren't they?
Yes.
Stay where they are for now to keep the cavalry at bay.
Stay in square there, alright.
Okay.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, interesting. So they are staying in square here. I mean, he doesn't know about the artillery so far, but he will learn about them pretty soon. What is going to happen, as I said, is though that out of nowhere there appears a French brigade in the rear of the enemy. And that will give the Saxons quite something. Quite the shiver. So let's push them onwards. They even brought some supplies with them through the woods, which is quite something to do. I guess the infantry is now forced to deploy by the cavalry. They outnumber them heavily though, so they will probably not form any squares. So now these guys are running for their lives. They continue to run. There, these guys got intercepted and surrendered. However, we need to put some smoke everywhere. Holy smokes. Did that. They won't make it quite that far. But he can't see them now. Let me see. They crossed right now. Next turn he will see that they did. So they are sitting there. That's alright. He can bring these guys into square in time. So these guys, realizing what they did, are now continuing onwards, hoping that they didn't shoot too many of their friendlies, but they are threatened. They are threatened from the rear. Now the question is, given that they were so confused already, will they make it into square when they realize that there's light cavalry behind them? Light cavalry would certainly charge them, but the Saxons are prepared to repel the attack. Let's see if they do. I give them a first roll, and if they hit, the enemy is pushed back. That's how I roll. So even if the enemy is in an advantage position, level 2, that's a hit. That's some disruption on the light cavalry. They are pushed back and grumbling around. Okay, so this will be a mess to resolve here. So we got these, we got these. And I don't allow these to react because the enemy just, I mean, they rolled so badly before when we checked if they would spot the movement through the woods, and they did not. And one could even say, I mean, historically it would be totally possible for the whole line now to disintegrate and just run away. That is perfectly realistic. So let's see, what was this die side? That's a hit on the enemy, even if they are... Whoops, that's the wrong state. That's the one. Even if they are in a good position. That's another hit and a low ammo on these. Let's see. Another hit. Can they come in on these? Yes, they can. So, I mean, even though the French were in a very bad spot, they might have turned the tide. Even if the enemy is advantage, hit and low ammo. Another low ammo. That might be a problem for these guys now, but the morale effect is certainly there. So there is another disrupt. What did these guys roll? Low, another low on ammo. And hit even against... So... even against advantaged enemies. It applies only in bad terrain. That's not the case. Now these guys are shooting back. That's actually a hit on these. Wow, I'm surprised. That's the wrong state. This one, 3 and 2. We got a lot of folks running around. That's a miss. That is a hit. And what did these guys roll? Is the enemy advantaged? No. So they get ammo low and let's get that. And a hit on the enemy. Now thing is there is in this system there is morale like cascade, so these guys get disrupted as well. And as these guys break, they should. So the whole French line, let's say they will retire because of that, even though the enemy is trying to run for their lives. But there's that, and there will be a lot of confusion as these guys go just wherever they want. And they, let's say they pull with them the officer there. He's carried away. There's just skirmish fire here. We don't care about this. We get the artillery die. Get moving against these cavalrymen there. And that is medium range is the case. That is double hit. So sorry guys, you are gone. That is a Dragoon squadron disintegrated. This time for real. No, not... Oh, come on. So there goes the 3D thing again. Shattered. And the other one is, even if they fired, they did so even against advantaged enemies. That's also the case. Oh, I need to change it to 3. This guy is not taking it either. So they are going home. Then we got these 2 batteries firing onto squares now. And that will be quite something. That is a route on the square. What did you expect? What did you expect? I think it's time to call this And we get 2 hits, so this guy is actually just blown to pieces. They are gone. Do we have anything else to consider? I think we can call it now. This is a... I mean, what is this? What is this? How long did we run the game? Let me check that and decide based on how long we ran it. 2 hours? I think we can. And then we have an interesting situation now because the artillery is doing good work. The Saxons are breaking away, but they're getting in reinforcements. So the French brigade broke, but the Saxons are by no means in a position to exploit that and take out the guns or anything like that. Okay, so that's my decision. We call it at this point. Bring everybody up and ninja up here. And so we're gonna call the game. Very interesting situation. I will stream for you if you want. You can join the umpire table in Tabletop Simulator. It's called IKS Umpires Only, and the password is Kriegsspiel, all lowercase. All right, so let me give you an overview of the situation. We had a French division deployed at Hof, marching along the main road to the east, as they knew that there were enemies somewhere to the east. We had a Saxon division of infantry at Waldaubach. They knew that somewhere there was an allied formation, but they didn't know where, and there was assumed enemy activity to the west, so they sent out units along that road. We come back to the main movement in a second. And then we got an Austrian cavalry division, which was starting around Schellenberg down here and moved up north. So let me get into the details then. Once the French sent out their light cavalry to scout ahead the marching column, they encountered one enemy regiment, one Saxon regiment on the slopes here, and the French sort of committed to this contact. The Saxons had sent out their troops via various routes, actually. They sent out one regiment down to Emmerichenhain with the divisional supply, which is very interesting. They moved their 2 regiments, which they held in reserve, to Homberg, and another one down this road, I think, to Weiganshain, which then marched to Emmerichenhain and then was called to countermarch and ended up in this position. Once it was clear that there was contact made, the reserves marched north and joined into the combat situation here. The Austrians, they sent some lancers to Emmerichenheim to scout for allied forces and moved their main body up this road and then onto the Wilsberg, while the supply column was continuing to Salzburg. When the lancers arrived at Emmerichenheim, they made contact with 2 regiments and continued their way along this main road about to this hill here, where they were spotted by the French commander moving between these positions on the east bank of this creek. They then committed a charge against the French reserve brigade, which was the smallest brigade of 3 battalions, protecting the main divisional supply. And they were sort of repelled by the enemy after managing to break one of the battalions. Now the French, after making this contact, they screened the position here with light cavalry, brought up their 1st brigade and the artillery in the center. Let me sort of get rid of the lines, or not yet. They kept the supply train and one brigade here along the road, and sent their second brigade, and that was quite interesting, along this road down here. They crossed at Weiganshain and then moved into the woods, and eventually right now they sprang their ambush on the enemy rear. So this movement here obviously happened before the enemy lancers moved up north. So the second brigade had already passed Weigansheim down here when the Uhlans or lancers passed Sennhausen there. And that was quite interesting. It took the second brigade quite some time to get through the woods, and they got disrupted by that. But when they sprang out right the turn before we called the game here, they just basically routed the complete, worth of 3 regiments of Saxon infantry there, 6 battalions. Only one here is still standing. Everybody else is just running away or already captured. And interestingly enough, the general is carried away by his rounding men into the French positions. Then we got the final movements of the cavalry, the Austrian cavalry, trying to move around, find a crossing here. The cuirassiers made it across, held dragoons in sort of a watching position, trying to attack the supplies, but they were pushed back by French artillery fire from over here. The French had turned their guns, and just now they have brought up their horse batteries to pound on those squares, which they did rout another 1 battalion there. So that is about roughly how this battle played out. Quite interesting. I think, having this Austrian cavalry division in the rear was a bit of a challenge for the French, of course. They could have committed their whole division a little bit quicker, or at another point. I think I talked about on stream how I was wondering why the artillery was deployed in the valley, so to say. Shooting up the hill was a bit rough for them.
Yeah. I actually had a plan, but I chose to go with a more aggressive one. The plan initially was to, when I brought up the reserve and I went to the flanking, I considered sending the part of the reserve, specifically the Prince August, whichever the one was Prince, to Mollendorf, rather than having them go along the other route, which would have seen us flank and would have kept the at least some information on what was going on at the flank, because I was not expecting to be outflanked.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate. You sort of, the terrain came in, and you sort of.
It wasn't even just the terrain. It was the fact that somehow I missed them.
Right, exactly.
And they just ran through the gap during the one specific time.
Yep,
exactly. Which that gap existed.
Exactly. Yeah, that was quite something. Yeah. So regarding your approach, I think it was somewhat valid to split up the forces, because you didn't. I think you wanted to make contact with the Austrians as quick as possible.
Part of it was making contact with the Austrians. Part of it was identifying where the French were going to come and saying, "I don't have to win the battle now. I have to hold the battle for as long as possible."
Yeah, exactly.
But there was one gap, and by sheer dint of luck, that was the one time in which the French crossed and fell directly on the flank. Because I was trying to get on the French flank.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. There was this movement here. They are now stopped, sort of screened by a squadron of light cavalry there. Otherwise, they would probably have been already in Mürndorf. But yeah. So the French and the Saxons, one could say, neutralized each other here. And it's interesting to. I mean, I don't know what I want to call this. Probably a coalition victory because the French are now sort of surrounded. Otherwise, they got an almost fresh brigade coming down that hill here, and they could reinforce the line at Nister or at least cover the retreat for the routing forces.
Yeah. Could you do me a favor and like tell me what would happen with the cuirassiers if we did another turn? Because I don't know how they work.
Yeah, they would certainly go in here, I think. Now, then it depends. Is the enemy able to react to that, form squares? I think they are already so close that they are seen there, so the enemy would form a square. What I would do
essentially,
then...
if I hold for another turn, if my forces don't immediately fall apart, I am in a position where we have reinforcements come in from all sides. The French are trapped. It's specifically that like little dint of luck. And really, I think I don't know. It feels like it was bad play. Specifically letting that gap become open and letting the French run through that gap.
Yeah, it was just really unfortunate timing there, though.
Yeah. Because I assumed, okay, the French are committing a lot of forces here, and because I haven't heard anything coming from the south, and it was like the one time I didn't have anyone there. It's when the French come in and swing and smashes in flank.
Which gap was that? Was that to the east?
I was the one to the east, yes, I was the Saxons.
That was, let me see.
East and south. Because, like, if the second brigade isn't there, then I'm committing my... then I'm committing my reserve to try and score a victory.
Right.
I had troops on Weigenschein, actually, to begin with. But I moved them to protect the flank at further south. And then I sent them back up, because I should probably have sent one other reserve there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were these forces that were initially in Weigenschein were in Emmerichenhain when the second French brigade.
They were marching to Morhendorf again.
Yeah, was going through here, and when they were here, you were already like at this position, so there was the woods in between. You couldn't see them. That was perfect timing. So let's see. I'm judging both will be able to get into squares. This one is rolling a rout against this squadron, so that's just bye-bye. And this one is a disruption hit on the enemy. So now we got one squadron coming in against the square. And what is it doing? It is an advantage hit, and this is... okay, this is one of the die sides. The cavalry die has an ambiguity, because the die shows actually a rout, not a hit, but the side says a hit. So... even Otto is not sure.
It seems a hit in a square. Would that not always be a rout? How else could you get a hit in a square?
I mean, so hits are basically disruption or whatever. I mean, they can be disruption, disorder, wary
but
troops.
I'm just thinking,
but anyways,
if a square gets hurt at all, it means it's broken, no?
Yeah, the thing is,
how else would
it's so abstracted, you know. I mean, this can also just mean the men are getting tired or whatever. But anyways, even if it was a hit, a second hit would put these guys at the rout, so they are then also going away, and these guys will probably then just charge home. And
would there be chain routing or anything? Is that a thing in this?
Yeah, this is actually a thing. So these guys would then also rout. That's true.
But the unit being smaller does not hurt its fighting ability.
No.
Like taking. Okay.
No. It's just assumed that they have some stragglers or are not as...
it's like 10% or something.
Yeah, not as combat ready as before. Okay. And I like this system quite a lot. I think it's a very elegant system, and I like that there are these unit type specific dice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, felt like cavalry was very, very squishy to artillery fire.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How far away is that dragoon up there that got hit?
About less than 4 squares.
Like how far would that be?
Let me see. Is that? Yeah, it's still effective range, but not canister range, obviously.
Yeah. It just feels super squishy for a whole squadron to route and one to get destroyed.
Yeah. I mean, but I like that about the system as well, because there are so many morale factors we usually do not take into account with our games. So
yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah,
I'll have to rethink the campaign a bit.
I missed the beginning. Did the surprise attack from 2nd Brigade work?
Yeah, it worked out perfectly.
It essentially worked because you had the best timing ever.
Yeah.
I had troops in the crossing city, Weinsbach, Weigenstein, that were there, but then I moved them south because I was afraid of leaving the supply chain at Emmerich-Rhein completely empty, and then they marched north again. They're on the outskirts of Morendorf. Essentially speaking, I moved them at that point in time, and then the other thing that I did was that I sent part of the reserve with me towards the north. I had 2 battalions in reserve. If I had committed one to go through Weigenstein and towards Morendorf, I would probably have spotted you at least. I would probably have still taken casualties or whatever, but I would have been able to say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to do a flank attack on us. Reposition. But you slipped through the 1 split second.
Yeah.
Fell on my flank right when I was about to commit an extra brigade, and
I got super lucky then.
Reinforcements were coming in.
This move down here and into the woods was right about at the time that these guys had left. They were at this point for some turns in Emmerich-Rhein, and the reserve up here was already past these edge of the woods, so they couldn't see you either. So yeah, perfect timing. When these guys then came back, there was your light cavalry here screening the end of the column moving into the woods.
The guys from Emmerich-Rhein, they marched past you and did not spot you. So you essentially slipped through the one gap.
Yep.
At the one time I had to get in my defense. Yeah, it's perfectly good, isn't it?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. This was a fun game.
This was enjoyable, certainly. I thought I was in a really good position. I did not expect the flank.
Yeah, a bit of a hard scenario for the French with having a cavalry division, even though a small one in the rear.
I did not have any communication with the cavalry division, which was kind of an issue. Had I known that there was a cavalry division, I would probably not have committed the forces to Emmerich-Rhein as soon as possible. I took the position at that hill because I felt like otherwise that was the only way I would be able to threaten your rear. I did not know where the other one was.
Yeah, that was the thing. Everybody was going in blind, sort of.
I was surprised to start being attacked in the back. That was certainly disconcerting.
What? Sorry.
I was surprised to be attacked from the west. I didn't think anyone was behind me.
No.
I mean, that was my hope. I heard cannon fire to the northeast. Yeah. And so I assumed that was only the only real spot, in that area where stuff could have happened.
I heard
not exactly there, but in that area.
Yeah.
So I decided to walk to the left and.
Oh, that was actually when the batteries were still back here and fired across.
Yeah. If I would refight, if there's anything I learned from this one, is just try and keep. Don't let your flanks become open at any point. If I had one battalion, however, it didn't have to be strong. It just had to be one. I would probably have spotted the flank and attack.
That's what cavalry's for. Right?
I actually did a die roll here because your forces were pretty close to the woods. I thought, okay, they will probably have 1 or 2 guys sitting there in the woods and keeping an eye out. and you rolled a 1, so total fail there.
God damn it. If that had been the case, I would probably have deployed to the reserve to fight them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that is... you would probably have run directly into my reserve.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would have been a matter of like the rest of the army just
and I mean,
fighting its way.
This situation is also, if you think about historical situations, if this formation, which is committed here and sticking into the thick of it, doesn't realize that there is an enemy formation coming up, even if it was a single battalion, they would probably rout anyway.
Oh, it's gonna get completely roll over. It's the entire point of bringing the force to Morendorf.
Yeah.
To say, hey, we now have your flank.
Yep. Did actually roll for the one round of combat here from the French, but it was a rout anyway, so yeah. That was a good one. I think there's also something we usually in our games do not consider: the immense morale impact if something unexpected happens to the troops. So like enemy battalion showing up on the flank or something. There are some just recently read one description of a situation in Russia where an isolated Bavarian battalion showed up on the enemy flank and completely routed a complete brigade just because they didn't expect the enemy to come through the rough terrain there, and then out of a sudden a battalion charged with the bayonets at them, and then they just said, nope, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Yep. All right. Well, glad you enjoyed it then.
Well, yeah, thank you for the game. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was
Thank you.
great fun.
Thank you, Jan.
Yeah, sure. Always.
Done Ninja and G-Puzzle.
Yeah, good game.
Yeah, good game.
Okay, cool.
I am certainly looking forward to the campaign now. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Definitely.
Oh man, that campaign has been a wild ride. I've been hastily promoted to general, division general.
Oh yeah? Wait, what side are you on?
All right, everybody on the stream, thank you so much for watching. I see there are a number of viewers actually currently around. That's interesting, considering that we did such a spontaneous stream here. Hope you enjoyed it as well. This video will be uploaded to YouTube later on. Wish you a good evening, or wherever you are, a good day. See you on the next one. Bye bye.